because not because we are not face to face, not because we are not face to face doesn't mean that we can't give God thanks or we can't do our meeting like we would normally do as if we're face to face. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and read a portion of scripture to you from Proverbs 5, and I'll be reading from Proverbs 5 verses 1 through to 6, 1 through to 8, sorry. And it reads thus: My son, be attentive to my wisdom, incline your ear to my understanding, that you may keep discretion and your lips may guard knowledge. For the lips of a forbidden woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps follow the path to Sheol. She does not ponder the path of life, her ways wander, and she does not know it. And now, O sons, listen to me, and do not depart from the words of thy mouth. Here ends a portion of God's holy word, and we honor this by saying that the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. I'm going to go ahead and pray now on our behalf. So wherever you are right now, let us assume an attitude of prayer as I ask Mrs. Noble Grant to lead us into singing this prayer chorus. Thanks, thanks, I give you thanks.
Thanks, thanks, I give you thanks for all you have done. Oh, I am so blessed. My soul is at rest. Oh, Lord, I give you thanks. Thanks, thanks, I give you thanks for all you have done. I am so blessed. Oh, my soul is at rest. Oh, Lord, I give you thanks.
Thank you. Most holy, righteous, eternal, loving Father, as we bow before you this afternoon, Lord, we just want to give you thanks and praise for allowing us to live to see this 23rd day of September 2021. It's not because of anything that we have done, oh God, while we're still here, but it's because your mercy extends down to us even one more day, even one more second, even one more minute while we are still here. God, thank you for the many blessings which you have been bestowing upon us. We may not have everything that we want, dear God, but you provide even what we need to us, even if it is breath of life, you give it to us. So, God, as we're about to discuss matters as it relates to our children, as it relates to this Anchovic Primary School, as it relates to our parents, as it relates to our teachers, help us to do so in a respectful manner. Help us to respect each other even this afternoon. Lord, I pray that you may go before us. You may guide our thoughts. You may guide our words. You may guide our actions. And at the end of this meeting, God, we can all say it was a productive one, and it was to your name's honor and glory. Thank you, God, for hearing my prayers. Forgive us all for our many sins which we are committing. And I pray, God, that you will continue to provide for us. You'll continue to be with us. You'll continue to take care of us. Thanks for hearing my prayers with thanksgiving in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so welcome again, parents. Welcome, teachers. Welcome, Principal Mrs. Mitchell. Welcome, our newest parents to the Anchovy Primary School family. For those of you who may not know me, I am Mrs. Camille Reed Porteous. I am currently your Parent Teachers Association President, and I enjoy working with you. I enjoy working with Antwerp Primary School, and I look forward to having a very productive and interactive time with you if I am still going to be your president for the school year that we're in right now. So welcome. Thank you for joining us and feel welcome. All right. So normally in our PTA meetings, we would have our preliminaries, our welcome, any congratulations, any apologies, any birthdays, any anniversaries, you can indicate in the chat. And if by chance you're having a birthday, let us wish you a happy birthday from now, whoever it may be. Congratulations. I hope that we don't have any condolences to extend. Oh, on that note, I think we do have a condolence because I believe we lost a parent over the summer, a parent of a grade 2 or a grade 3 child over the summer. And I just want to extend condolences to the child of that parent. Just give me a second, let me get the name again. All right, sorry about that. Yes, we have lost Ajani Grant's mommy in the summer, and Ajani was an only child for his mommy. And we as a family, we need to embrace him and we need to love him because being motherless is never an easy task. I still have my mommy alive, but I can imagine what he must be going through at such a tender age. I believe he's in grade 3 now. So Ajani last minute, but because of how things have been going, we haven't really had a formal PTA meeting for a couple months now. Of course, we have meetings, but nothing as formal like we would love it to be. So today we will bypass the reading of the last minutes and we'll just go straight into our discussions of our businesses. So at this time, I'll turn over to Mrs. Mitchell or Mrs. Walters, whoever first would like to address you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mrs. Walters will be asked to address us in a little while. I'll go first. Okay. To our hardworking PTA president, who is ever ready and ever present, we say good afternoon. To our ICT facilitators, we say good afternoon. And to all our parents who have taken the time out this afternoon to join us, it is a pleasure to wish you a very good afternoon as we embark on our very first Parent Teachers Association meeting for the academic year 2021-2022. We give God thanks for his keeping care, his loving kindness, and his tender mercies towards us. I'm going to be asking one of the ICT facilitators to just run back a little through the chats because while Mrs. Portius was talking about Ajani's parent, I saw maybe two messages came up or two comments in the chat about other students who would have lost persons. So just run back through the chat so we can formally, and at an opportune time inform me so we can formally speak to the children and those who are mourning at this time. So one of you facilitators, please just run back to the chats and look at the stories that are there concerning persons who have lost family members during this pandemic. It is one of the most uncertain times that we have come across. None of us would ever believe that anything that is happening now was possible, was remotely possible. And as such, we accept life as it comes and we just continue to pray for each other and to make an effort to ensure that we are there for those who are mourning, those who need our sympathies, and just for everyone. And it is one of the most difficult times also to facilitate education in a pandemic. And as such, as a school, we understand most of what our parents are going through. We are here for you, and we will ensure that as we take this ride through this year, that we all take care of each other. We all take care of each other, and we all ensure that we look out for each other. I just want to congratulate, as Miss Portia has said, Mrs. Love. It was Mrs. Love that reached out to us about Ajani's parents. And she has been there along with the rest of the family for Ajani. And we say thanks to you, madam. And it is always good parents, especially in this time, to have a network of parents that are there, persons who are there for each other and are able to just be there. On that note, I'm going to be asking, though, that like Mrs. Love has done, anything that happened to our students, it is of great interest to us. So we ask that if you know of any student that is grieving, any student that is just in need of anything, that you reach out to our guidance and counseling department. Mrs. Willox and Mrs. Walters are at school almost every day. The office is open every day, and I am there every day. So reach out to the department because we have services. The guidance and counseling department is one that reaches out to students who are grieving, who are having any sort of issues. And these children, it doesn't matter how they are moving around and they look okay, they really need the persons to sit and speak with them about what is happening, because they might appear to be okay, but we sometimes, when you go deeper, you realize that they really need us. So just give them, sending the information to our guidance counselors and give them so that we can give them the support that is required to take them through the time. It's really a difficult time. So we ask that you assist us in that regard. Okay, as we move on, I say welcome to the new school year. The school year has begun again, as we had started last year. We have begun in the middle of, I hope it is closer towards the end of the pandemic. We have seen our third spike. I am not sure where we are. Our PTA president would be able to tell us, but I'm a teacher. I'm not sure where we are in this spike, but I know that I've never heard of so many persons just dying in any time. So we are saddened that the students are not able to come back together as we would want them, but we are also grateful for the decisions that the ministry has made for students to start out online, and that their education can be continued, because especially for the smaller ones, I'm not sure what would happen if they were to come out. And we really want them after this season. So we are thankful, even though it's hard, we are thankful that decision was made this year. We started on time. September 6th school started. Last year we never started until October 5. But we started out a little earlier this year. And so we are hoping that we will accomplish more by the end of the year. And we hope also that COVID-19 will be long gone by the time we get to the end of this school year. All right. So let me continue. So on that note, I say welcome, and the discussions it will be discussions and not a monologue, but I'm going to be listing some things that we are doing and things that we have done. And at the end, whatever questions you have, you will be free to ask, and I'll answer as much as I can to the best of my ability. Okay. We started, like I said earlier, online. I note that we have 1,031 students starting out with. We have a record 839 who have already logged on, who have already joined their Google Classrooms and are currently being engaged. This is a great improvement from last year, because last year, most of our students did not have gadgets to work with. And as such, we ended up having students coming on at different times within the year. And it means that those who came on earlier would have gotten more than those who came on at a later time in the year. So I'm grateful that most of you, the school was only able to provide with PATH and any other donors that we have. The school was only able to provide 239 tablets. So if 839 students are on, it means that 600 of you would have purchased, or for some reached out but would have solved that problem for us. And we are grateful. We say thank you. We say thanks for just investing in your children's education. So more students are on. It means that more of our teachers will be able to reach more students. And I hope that as we move on, the other 200, most of them would have reached out to the school. Some would have let us know that they do not have gadgets and stuff like those, but have not and there are students also who are joining the meets, but have not received their MOE students email. So we have none of the 839 I spoke about. Grade 1 is not included, because grade 1 students would not have gotten their emails from the ministry, so they would not have been in the classroom. And we have 57 grade 1s. So if we add that to the 800, it means that we would have gone 839. It means we would have gone 957. That's 900 96. So we would just have a few, a little over 100, whom we really would, and among that group, you would have, are those students who are at school, they are coming in online, but they are not recorded in the Google Classroom as a result of them not having the MOE school's email. We are working on getting everybody on that platform. It is a little tedious at this time. I know that for most of you, you call every day, because for those who do not have the email, it's a little difficult for them to get into the Meet, and they cannot access the classroom at all. However, we actually forwarded students' names to the ministry. But the fact that some of the new students are from other schools, they will have to actually check to see if those students already would have been assigned emails, because they are trying not to do any duplicates in the system. So that is creating a little setback at this time. I hope that by next week, the grade 1 emails will come, and so we can get them in their classrooms. However, at this time, the grade 1s are doing the grade 1 individual learning profile. It is short, the acronym we say GOLIP or GULP. A number of students, a little over 70 yesterday. I did not get the data for today because I left the teachers at school. A little over 70 of the 157 of them would have completed that assessment. And most of them over the first 2 weeks would have completed the IDRI, which is the reading test. We have to collect the data in order to be able to serve the students the way we are supposed to serve them. If we do not have data to plan from, we use that data to determine how we group them for reading, which students need extra help. So it might appear as though things are a little lagging behind. It's not really a log, it's really collecting data enough to be able to effectively serve our children. So I ask that you bear with the teachers, and the fact that the reading test is an individual test where the teacher meets with a single child in say a half an hour span. The GOLIP is also predominantly an individual test where the teacher asks, as a matter of fact, it is entirely done individually now. When pre-COVID, we had a group section where the students would be, there was a group section in the assessment. Now everything is done individually. You would understand that we can't do any group testing at this point because of what's happening in our country or what's really happening in the world. So just bear with the teacher. I have gotten numerous calls every day. I have gotten and I keep getting numerous calls just to say that the child is not able to join and all of those little complaints. The child will not be able to join if the teacher is meeting with a single child. If the teacher is having an individual session, he or she will not be able to include another child in that individual session. So I just ask that you bear with the teachers. They are, I think, over halfway through the GOLIP and maybe the same pace with the reading. And it means then that next week into the week, the other week, within the next 2 weeks, grade 1 will be able to start teaching. So if you're in this meeting and your child has not yet done the grade 1 individual learning profile, You can reach out to the grade 1 teachers. If you are not getting through, you can reach out to me and I will ensure that your child get tested. We have to test all the students that we get to test. So they were trying to see if they could cover more ground this week. If I don't think we have got 90 students, it means that we have to continue testing moving forward because we will need that data. Firstly, we need the data to address the students' needs. And secondly, the data has to be submitted to the Ministry of Education. So we ask that if your child is a grade 1 child and he or she has not yet done any of the 2 tests, if the child has done one and is still waiting for the other, if you don't tell child's name on the list and all of that, try to reach out to us and ensure that your child gets in the loop. Because when the teachers kick off, all of the work that is posted in the group, they know like the little activities that are there for them, they are not tied to what they are going to be taught. They are just little pieces of work that will keep them because the others are engaged. But when teaching starts, the data that we are collecting is needed. So I ask that you, if your child is in grade 1, that you ensure that that is addressed if it's not yet been addressed. The next grade that is of significance, and I need to speak about that, is grade 6. We have been asked this year to register the students for PEP at an earlier time. We posted the PDF form in the grade 6 WhatsApp group and asked that grade 6 parents complete the form. The form cannot be completed online. A PDF form is not editable like that. We did the same thing last year. It is expected that the form be printed, filled out. However, you do not have to take the form to school. The form can be WhatsApped. Most persons are sending them to me. It's not a problem. But if you have the teacher's number, that would be ideally the space that you would upload that form, because the teachers are uploading the information. The form you send will not be submitted to the ministry. The form you send is our local school data collection. We will be keeping those forms because from time to time, persons would have selected schools, and when the children are placed in the schools, we change our minds, and then we would say that we did not select that school. So we will have those forms to clarify, because in truth and in fact, a child was placed at Alston High in Clarendon. The mother did not. So sometimes some errors are made, but we will have that data either virtually or physically at school to be able to say, yes, well, yes, this is what was done, or no, and so we can reach out to the ministry and serve you in a better way. So ensure that those forms are filled out, ensure that your telephone numbers, if they have been changed since the students came in grade 1, because the data we are using would be the data collected at grade 1 as it regards telephone numbers and those personal things that we would have gotten from you. Hence the reason we would have sent out the forms. The ministry last year uploaded the PEP results, and since they had parents' data, parents were able to access the results before we were able to access it. This past PEP examination. So it is important that you have numbers that are current and that are working, so that you don't have to call school when somebody else's child tell you that his child is gone to X school or Y school. And because anything they would have uploaded, it to everybody. Everybody's account whose numbers they would have had in their possessions. So this is the time that you give us all the data. The students, the teachers are currently updating the data that we have at school, especially if your child had started out at grade 1 and is now, say, in grades 5 or 6. You should at least tell us if you had moved from where you were living when the child started out. All of that is very, very important to us. And we must have, especially this time when we are teaching remotely, we must have a number that is working for you. We also understand that you need the teachers' numbers. I do understand that. There is really no reason for your child to be in a class and you are not able to have the teacher's number for the class that your child is in. However, we are asking that when the teacher's numbers are given, we behave in a responsible manner and do not make an attempt to call the teacher at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the night. No, that's one of the reasons that teachers are a little hesitant in giving out their numbers, because sorry about that. I just had to move to get my phone plugged in. Okay, so that's one of the reasons the teachers are need to call. If you come in at 10, you would have to consider that a teacher would have already gone to bed at 10. So if you come in at 10, you wouldn't want to call the teacher at 10. You wouldn't want to call the teacher at 10 because the teacher will have to wake up tomorrow morning to teach her class again. So the calls, and especially to my phone, everybody calls my phone. I'm getting calls up to 11 o'clock in the night. I'm getting calls at 11:30. I'm getting texts at 1 o'clock. It is unfair to persons who have to sleep to work the other day for somebody to be waking you up. And we have to also understand that there are other persons in our homes. And there are some of us who have people who are not well also. You know, we don't want the phone to be beeping all night and you get up and it's a parent calling. So in as much as I really want to address all the issues that will arise, we have to understand that there is a time for work and there is a time for rest. So try not to call after 9 o'clock. My phone, but especially for the teachers, try to call them within the working hour. I will say 9 o'clock because I watch the news and by the end of that, I would still be able to respond. The other thing is, if you have to understand that if we have 1,031 students, we have about, if everybody has 2 children, that would amount to about 500 parents, male and female. And there are some of you with just 1 child. And there are some of you who would have given 3 numbers to be added to the group or whatever. Everybody sends us a text. Some texts are going to go missing. Based on how WhatsApp operates, you will have to sit then and search all the text. So there is a concern that we are not responding to text. I don't think that is the problem. We are overwhelmed at this time with the number of messages that are coming in. And you know that if you send a message, the next message pushes your message in second. The next message pushes that your message in third. So by the end of the day, especially on my phone, your message might just be at number 400. When I come in and I'm sitting down and I'm ready to check the text, I can't check 400 texts. I can't do that because it would then say that my life is just checking texts, responding to them, and then most of the things that are to be done for school would then not be able, I wouldn't get them done. So I ask that you bear with us and do not go ahead and get judgmental to say your calls are not being answered. And because there's no reason, there's absolutely no reason for us not to answer your call. I wrote in all the groups the other day concerning this same issue, as somebody was interested enough to have written a number of curse words in a text to say that I was not responding to her phone or her text. And she sent me some nice, very colorful curse words. Well, I blocked her because you can't, it's my phone. It's my phone, and there are principles that I know that no parent has their, they give a number that is used at school. So I ask again that you exercise respect. It's somebody's phone you're calling, it's somebody's phone you're texting, exercise some respect. And if I think that the text you're sending it does not communicate respect, I'm not going to respond. So try your best to be respectful. I have always been as respectful as I can to all of you. So I ask that you do that. If you are brave enough to send a text full of curse words to the principal, I can just imagine what you would have done to the teachers. And as we move down, and we are representing our children, or as we move up, because I see the children at the top of the hierarchy. We are representing our children. Whatever we do, we are representing the kids that are at school with us. And I know that we have gone above and beyond the call of duty. I know schools that have not been opened since March. You can't go there and ever get anything. We are there every day. So I know that we have gone above and beyond the call of duty to serve our stakeholders. So I ask that you operate in a professional manner with us as we try our best to do with you. We know that some of the students are having problems with the gadgets. I'm not sure what the Amazon tablets present, but I know that when a child gets an Amazon tablet, there is a problem in signing into Google. It can happen, but I guess if persons that are not able to do it try, you might just end up in a problem. Even the normal tablets, Samsung tablets, you end up in problems. What we have done, they were formerly called the technology team. We have changed their name. They are now the ICT facilitators. We have that group there, and they are skilled and they are facilitating. The name really fits them. So you can either call in. If you call school, you might be able to speak to Mr. Thompson or Mrs. Walters because they are always on the ground. But there are other members of the team that you are able to reach out to, and they are able to help you in setting up whatever it is that you need to set up for your child to access classes. However, there are some problems that you have that it's best if you pick up the gadget and come. But do not come to school for stuff like you want a tablet, because we don't have any tablets there. Do not come. If you need the email address, you don't need to come for that. You can call the office or you can call me and I can give it to you. Mr. Thompson can give it to you. And I think any member of the ICT team can give it to you. But so you don't need to come for that, because we really want to keep everybody safe, and the less contact that we have, it's best for us. However, we are there for you if you are having problems with connectivity. I know that since we start the year, we are having more frequent power outages. I don't know if it's a situation where there is an overload and we are having a greater number of internet connectivity issues also. So we ask that the teachers are going to bump out just like the students bump out. We had last year, and we have renewed that call this year, that some of the lessons be recorded so that students are able to access them at a later time. We are working on getting that done. Well, especially for my class, I teach language arts at grade 6, and almost all my lessons have already been recorded. So if I am not able to physically sit with them in the classroom, I upload the lesson. I am there on the slides teaching. They are able to see me. It's just that it's a video and they might not be able to ask the questions. So whenever we meet, and which will not be long after, I would be able to answer their questions. But I teach on the slides in so much that I don't think some of them will have any questions at the end. So we are hoping to do that. We are hoping to facilitate our students in the best way. I announced the last time that one of our girls, she got 129.7 out of 130 on the PEP exam that has gone, that was just recently published. It means that she got less than 1%. She fell short by less than 1%. We work with those students, and the work starts at grade 1. I ask that whatever the teachers ask for, that you try your very best to provide it. The books from the ministry, we have not received the books. There are some books at grade 6, 5, and 4. We are going to facilitate handing out, but I don't think we have enough books for all students, because we have not received books from the ministry. We have gotten a new set of grade 6 books, just one title. So all students should be able to get that. Grade 3, we got some books, but they are term 2 books. So it doesn't even make any sense for you to come in to collect them, because they will not be supporting the learning that is happening now. So I ask that you, if you're able to purchase the books that are on the list, which I would really believe that by now, at least the reader for the lower school, we should have purchased those. But if you are able to do so, and thanks to those of you who have gone out and purchased, but if you're able to do so, make an effort to do so until we get those other books. However, teachers will be ensuring that the content is shared with students, so they will not be deprived, even though we have not gotten the books. One of the advantages of being online is that you can, if you get a scan of a sheet, you can share that with all students. So we will try to facilitate them in the best way we can. We will scan what can be scanned. So when the books come from the ministry, we won't need to go back, because teachers have started teaching. Now on Monday, we started teaching, and we started teaching the model we are using now. It's called the primary specialist model. The primary specialist model. It means that we have selected our best maths teachers at each level, and we have given them maths to teach. We have selected our best language arts teacher, and we have given them language to teach. So your child is getting the best of the best in each subject area. So at the lower level, the children, it will take them a little time to get used to it. But just like the high school, they go to their language arts teacher, then they go to their mathematics teacher, and based on how the timetable is, they have a different teacher for each subject. They are getting the best. So when you see your child in a language arts class, that's the best language arts teacher that you can get. You see the child in the maths class, that's the strongest maths teacher at that level. So everybody has strength in different areas, but we have pulled the best for each area, and the students are given the opportunity to meet with the best. So right now, the teachers are teaching in their special areas. And so we ask that it's just the students getting used to the fact that they no longer have just one teacher for each subject. And as soon as that they understand that, we will be able to, but it's a model the ministry has. We introduced it from last year at grades 4 to 6. But this year, the ministry has added up to the list of schools that will be doing the specialist model. Ours will get fully started in January. So we hope that, but we started a year ago. So when the ministry asks us to, in January, when we are supposed to, start, all they will have to do is put in the model that we are using. So just understand that there is a little change as it regards teachers to students. Teachers are teaching individual subject areas, and so the students will have to join different classes, different teachers for different classes. So grades 4 to 6 did it last year. They do understand what they're doing. Grades 1 to 3, we have just started with them. So we ask that you help them at home there to actually get used to that type of model. All right. So I spoke about books. I spoke about the primary specialist model. There is we have two general devotions. I have posted the calendar of events. We have a general devotion on Monday, and we have one on Wednesday. The devotion on Wednesday is called a national devotion. What we do in that devotion is recite all the national symbols, and we pay homage, loyalty, respect to our country. Whilst the students were at school, this was one of the most solemn times in our school, because we just brought it online, but we had it from before. The students would not move whilst we are singing the national anthem. All that respect to national symbol was taught. We still are having our national devotions, but now we will need your help. We will need your help in getting the students to stand at attention while the anthem is being sung, getting the students to not do anything else while the anthem is being sung, because these are called civic pride, and we will need to get them to follow these protocols regarding each symbol. On the days when we have national devotions, the teachers, Mrs. Fraser is our cultural coordinator, and the group is responsible to plan all cultural functions. So the national devotion being one of those. On those days, they would highlight a national symbol, and so that students are able to learn the protocols that are attached to each symbols. when the protocols are communicated, especially for our grade 1 students, make an effort to have them follow through. Make an effort to have them stand at attention, even though it might be a single child at home. When the anthem is being sung, if you see where the teacher will who is leading the devotion would ask that they all stand at attention. But because they're at home, they may not want to do that. Try help us in this regard to just get them to stand at attention and while the anthem is being sung. The anthem does not go beyond 3 minutes. So it's just to pay respect to our national symbols. It means that when we come back together, because we have not met last year grade 1s, and the grade 1s now, we still have not met them like in the physical space. So when we come together, they might be at grade 3 or 4. So we have to ensure that they get an understanding of what schooling is, of what being a Jamaican is, of what a number of things that they have to learn and that they should learn in the physical space. We will have to get them to understand that. So I ask that you help us in that regard. Please help us just to let them stand at attention while the anthem is being sung. Let them not be doing anything else. Most of our announcements are made during the devotion time. Please let them listen let them tell you what the announcements are. As of Monday, we would have selected from what we know, because the students at grade 6 would have been students that we would have been with physically from they were at grade 1. So the guidance and counseling department, which is the department responsible for the selection of student leaders, would have submitted some names, and those students whose names were submitted, Mrs. Walters will reach out to them and they will start presenting their manifestos for the year to say what they plan to do as head boy, head girl. We ask that you listen in on Monday, listen in on Wednesday. 2 students will each present their manifestos. After they have presented, that's our student leaders. After they have presented, we will make selections based on their presentations, based on what information we have on them before. So on October 6th, I think that's what is on a day in October, please check the calendar of events. We will be presenting them to the school as the student leaders for the academic year 2021-2022. Mrs. Walters will reach out to you to the students in this regard. So we invite your parents to listen in on what the students have, what they plan to do, how they plan to lead in this pandemic. We are developing students. We're developing ladies and gentlemen for society, and as such, we have to let life be as real as possible, even though we are functioning from a remote space. Basically, I will pause for a while to accommodate your questions. I will pause for a while to accommodate questions. So I'm going to be asking our co-host and host at this time to monitor the chats to see if there are questions there and to monitor those. You can raise your hands after you're identified. You can ask your questions and I will respond to you.
All right. There's someone by the name of Parents. You can go ahead. That hand is risen.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. I am a parent having my son in grade 1. I heard you say something about texting. I am a bit concerned with the group, with the grade 1 group, with the texting also. So I would want that to be addressed. Also, I realize that sometimes you have 2 or 3 teachers texting the same thing over and over. So I would want that to be addressed also. Thank you.
I would want you to clarify what you meant by texting.
For example, you're telling me that we have devotion in the morning, Zoom devotion. You have more than 1 teacher sending the link in the grade 1 group over and over.
Or the
so
same
if you say
group.
we have, yes, so if you say we have devotion Monday 8:30, but you print somebody else sending the same link, the same information Monday 8:30. And the text, sometimes some text come in the group. Remember, we cannot text in the group, it's just the teachers. So I think they need to be concerned the time that they are texting also in the group. And if you have 1 teacher doing a text, you just make that teacher doing a text. So we have 1 person text, and by your print the same text that person send, you're sending it again. I have an experience where they 1 teacher text, you must carry 10 counters. When you look somebody else text, you must carry 20 counters. But that was deleted. So I'm just trying to say that they need to come to agreement who is going to text and don't get the thing confused.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We acknowledge that. Thank you for making that request. And if we don't want you to stress us out, we should not be stressing you out. So I will speak to the grade 1s. I do know that persons actually post for their individual groups. So what we will do, but all the students are already doing the same things. So I'll speak to the grade 1 coordinator concerning that. Thank you very much. There was another question that you asked. What was it? There was another. Besides texting parent, what did you ask?
That was it.
Okay, no problem. So I'll address that. Any other questions? Okay, there's somebody there. The name is the name that came up is iPhone. If that's what you see on your thing, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Good evening, Miss Mitchell. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I have a concern. My son, for last year, I came at the school on numerous occasions. I'm not sure if you remember my face. About my son, he wasn't getting any class. Anyway, I do some adjustments. I have to do some walking in the morning, each day, morning and evening for him to get class. So, he is really slow, as I did mention to you guys about him. And in order for him to do the work, when he come in on the tablet, I have to read it, or my daughter have to read it for him, ask him the question. He will answer the question. We don't tell him. He will. But I don't feel satisfied with that, because I don't think I have to read it for him to answer the question. Because if you read it and ask him, he can answer it, but he can literally read the thing. So I was wondering if there any chances for any reading class or anything. I don't know. Maybe because he missed out so much last year, because he wasn't that bad. But because he missed out so much last year, I don't know if that is what happened, that he dropped back that much. So I have a concern there. Because I don't really want to help him to do the work. I want him going to the class and do the work himself.
Okay, mother, thank you. Thank you for that question. The last meeting we had, I announced that we have selected a teacher at grade 1 at grade 2, 1 at grade 3. So there are 3 special reading intervention groups at the lower school. And we have a teacher that is addressing grade 4 to 6. The informal reading inventory, which is the reading test that the students did over the last 2 weeks, we are using that data to place the students in reading intervention, in the reading intervention program. So if your child is really not reading, soon you will hear him talking about being a part of a reading program. But the data is now being collected to see who fits in the program. So that will be addressed.
Okay, thanks much. Thanks much.
You are welcome. You're welcome.
All right, the next person is Glendy.
Go ahead.
Hello. Hello, good evening.
Good afternoon. This is Glendine's mom, everyone. Miss Mitchell, I've called you about Glendine repeating by grade 5. I need to know, what should I go ahead if she's going to get an email or invitation to go back to grade 5, or I must make she continue until that is sorted out? Because I don't want her to buy all the grade 6 book and she's not going to use the grade 6 book now. And if I could get the grade 5 book list for me to buy them.
Okay. Let me respond to that to all. I am aware that you had spoken to me, mother. If the child is currently in grade 6 and you would want the child to do an additional year,
yes,
you have to write a letter. We just had that meeting this week. You would have to write a letter, and you still will need to fill out the form, the relevant forms. That form that is submitted in the grade 6 group.
Yes, I already do that. So I'll drop it off tomorrow at the school.
Right, you fill it out, drop it off along with the request for the child to be deferred. What I did last year, I wrote a letter. So the secretary has that letter on her computer. So if you come by the school, all you need to do is request one of the deferral letter and write in the child's name, and you sign it at the bottom. Anybody can.
Okay.
So if your child is in the grade 6 group now and you would want the child to stay over for another year, write a letter. You don't need to take the letter from home. We would have I already drafted that letter, and you can ask the secretary for a copy. You sign it, you leave it along with the relevant document. That document I posted for you to sign up. We send that to Student Assessment Unit. For short, they say SAU. We send that along with everything. They send us back a list of the students who are granted deferral. When that list returns to us, we return those students to grade 5. So that's the process of deferring a student from grade 5, grade 6, back to grade 5. Because we will now have to remove those students' names from the list of grade 6 students, or a timetable will come for them. So if you want your child to be deferred, write the letter. That has to come in tomorrow.
Yes, I'm coming down there tomorrow.
That has to come in tomorrow. So if anybody else in the group here would want the child to get another year, that's always the best thing to do. Write a letter requesting deferral, take it to school, ensure that when you write the child's grade on it, the class that the child is now in, so that it's easy for me to give it to that teacher, because it is a teacher's. That letter will have to be uploaded and sent to Student Assessment Unit. All right.
Okay. Thank
Oh,
you.
All
you're
right,
welcome.
thank you. We have Leticia Dixon Shippey and then Michaela Clark.
Okay, go ahead, Mrs. Shippey.
Good evening, everyone. Another parent had suggested this in the chat where it is confusing, where all the individual teachers are posting in Google Classroom. But what I, as the parent, asks, if each teachers could have an individual room inside of the general Google Classroom. So when you go inside and select language arts, it's just language arts. Notes or information will come in that classroom. Same for maths, integrated studies, and so forth.
It means that what happened, Mrs. Shippey, is what happened to him? Hold on. Lift him up, lift him up. Come outside again. What happened, Mrs. Shippey, is that okay, sorry about that. The classrooms that we have are created by the school. I don't know of a feature there that puts a classroom inside a classroom. It has to be a different classroom that is created. So the students are invited to their, but I don't know that that should be a problem because it will be the child's classroom. And there are titles there. The previous person who asked, I'm not sure about the writing, the person who asked about the WhatsApp group. But the titles are there, the folders, you have a language art section, you have a math section, you have, so the different teachers would upload under the topics. So it would be the child's classroom organized in the different subjects. So that's what
Everything is just on one. You just have to scroll on for the entire day to see everything that each teacher posts.
No man, it is to go under titles. So I'll have the ICT group look at it again. I'll have the ICT group look at that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I said I'll have the ICT group. We'll go into the classrooms and see if they are organized the way we expect them to be. Because that sounds like an organization problem. And if they are not, we will work on that.
Thank you.
Mrs. Mitchell, can I just butt in quickly? 30 seconds.
Yes, Mrs. Walters.
All right, so Mrs. Shippey, for the classrooms, even though when you look on the stream, you'll see a number of posts from the teacher. But if you go to the section that says classwork, you'll see every piece of work being organized under a different topic. The topics are according to the subject. So for example, all the math content is posted under mathematics, all the language arts and so forth. So if when you look on the stream, what happened is that the stream shows you every single thing that goes on in the Google Classroom. All right, so that is just generally how the stream is, to just give you the different updates. But if you want to understand better what is happening in the different subject areas, you go to classwork and then you look under it for what teacher posts and you complete the assignment or follow the instruction based on what is posted there. But everything at all, if a child say good morning, it is going to be on the stream. Anything at all, because that's what the stream is made for. So for subject usage, we advise persons to go to classwork and then you'll be better able to understand how to go from there.
But there are some things that the teacher posts as work that they are not going over the classwork section either. I had the opportunity to assist a young man last school year from another school. You see, when I go into his Google Classroom, you see, you have the spelling section, the reading section, mathematics, whatever subject it is in that general classroom. so you can select it. No other subject comes in that classroom. So
All right, so we'll address that. We'll just we'll speak with the teachers, read that. All right, we can have that addressed.
Ask who did the worksheet that you said. Honestly, it was not in the classwork section. And when I went over into the stream, it is over there. And I expect all the work to come into the classwork. So I have to be searching through the stream every day to say, okay, make sure that all the work is done. Because there are some things that are not coming in the classwork section.
Oh, so Mrs. Walters,
Yes, miss.
we will need to look back on that.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We'll try our best to address that.
Yes, because the classroom can be organized to in a way that you don't need to do that. The stream, though, work should never be posted in the stream. So if work is being posted in the stream, we will look on that. We will address that. The work is supposed to be posted in the section that says class work.
And well, I understand that the internet goes in and out daily. And sometimes when the teacher posts things in when they are writing in the chat, as soon as the internet goes out, then
you lose it. Work should not be posted in the chat either. The chat is used for the students to back to you.
I have to be there screenshotting everything to say, okay, if the internet goes out, you have it there.
Oh, sorry about that, Mr. Chippy. We'll look into that. We'll look into that. That's an organization issue. My understanding is saying that. So we will look into it, and if that's a problem, we can address it. All right?
Yes.
Okay. Next, Mrs. Waters.
Michaela Clark. Yes, go ahead, Michaela.
Yes, Miss. Good evening, parents. I'm talking behalf of Michaela Clark. She come down there and she do the reading test and everything, right? And yesterday, she not gonna read again. But I'm just looking in the app for that, always send the activities in the app what they must do. I know that you guys are doing the reading with the rest of students who are coming down here, right? But them always say go back to the app where them send come in the app so them can do for them little work where them are do. But between yesterday and today, I don't see nothing coming, and I wonder what happened. So I just need to know
which class is Michaela in.
Motivation. We already do our reading test online, and then I bring her Monday to do our test down there, and she did it. And that's it. After she do our test and everything, them tell us if we go into the app now, where we would have normally send in the WhatsApp group, the app to do the activities where them send in the WhatsApp group. So she would undo them. But between yesterday and today, I don't see nothing coming for she to do anything. I wonder what happened.
So no work has been posted in the WhatsApp group?
Right. No work didn't post yesterday. No work didn't post this morning. The only thing post this morning is this meeting.
Oh, I'll have to look at that, sir.
So I didn't get work for her. I did not get any work for her yesterday, and I did not get any work for her today. Only the PTA meeting post this morning. And anything what post yesterday is who is coming in to do their reading tests.
Okay, so I'll have to check that group. I'll have to check that group and I'll deal with that. More than likely, teachers are
Yeah,
in
but
this
it is grade
meeting.
one.
Yeah, it has to be grade one because it's just grade one
Okay.
students who are coming in.
Yeah. Well, just
It's
that I
just grade
want to know because none yesterday, none today. So I wonder what happened, you know?
Okay.
Yes, miss.
I'll look on that further because I was expecting work to be posted every day. I told the teacher, well, we agreed that we
Yeah, but
something to keep them
we
busy.
didn't
It's
get
not
anything
really,
today. We
it's
didn't
not
get
really
anything
work that
today.
is going to affect the that is curricular. It is just something to keep them occupied until the teacher is able to get them all together because they
Be-
are actually
Yes, I understand that.
yes.
Yes,
Yes, so we'll work on that.
yes, I understand that. I understand. Yes, okay then. That's what I just want to say, all right?
Yeah, okay, sir. Yeah, thank you for that question.
Yeah, because that's what you want to
Next
do.
person,
Yes, miss.
Mrs.
Okay, thank you.
Walters. Okay, you're
All right,
welcome.
we have Savina. Go ahead, Savina, if you're there. If not, we'll move on to Alicia.
Okay. Hello. Good afternoon, parents and teachers. My daughter is Tamina Lawson. She did not get to do the maths test from the Ministry of Education. She tried it, I tried it, and it's not going through.
Which class is the child in?
Grade 6.
Grade 6. Okay. She's in which of the grade 6 classes?
Man,
Magnificent.
yes.
Okay. All right. I'll speak to Mrs. Williams and we'll try
And
to work on.
she reposted. She reposted same way, and I tried it. My daughter tried it. My cousin tried it, and it still did not went through.
Oh.
But I know that she doesn't love maths enough. I'm teaching her maths, but I was trying to let her go in, and it's not going through.
Oh. Well, she has an excellent maths teacher, so she's going to love maths.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, she's going to love the maths. Don't worry about that. But I'll see to it that she gets them. Just remind me, and I'll see to it that she gets the test.
Okay, thanks, miss.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, Alicia, your time. You can unmute.
Good night, parents and teachers.
Good night.
My question is this: when you go on the Google worksheet and you reach on the section there that submit to teachers, and you enter the teacher email or the teacher send, why can't the work be sent from there? Why you have to screenshot it and send it otherwise to the teacher's email?
Which class is that?
My son is in grade 1, Energize.
And the teacher asks you to screenshot the work?
That's what I have to do, because when you go on the worksheet and you enter the email from there, it's not going through. You have to
Oh, you mean the
screenshot it
live
and send
worksheet?
it. Yeah, the live worksheet.
Oh, well, the live worksheets more they're out there on the internet, and the student is doing it live. You are not the only person whom I heard complained about the submission exercise. But for us all educators, it's something new. So everybody is still getting used to it. You are not the only person who has said that it has to be emailed. It's not been submitted. But we as we move on, mother, we will try to see what is creating that problem. All right. I can't tell you why it's not being
Yeah,
submitted.
because for me it is so much easier to submit it from there.
Yeah, it should be able to
And
be
the
submitted.
next, yeah, and the next thing, sometimes we as parents we have question, and sometimes we have something that we don't understand that we would like to talk to the teacher and find out, and then we can't get in contact to the teachers because we cannot text in the WhatsApp group, and that's an issue.
Okay, the teacher is not the WhatsApp group. I have asked each teacher to ensure that her parents have access to him or her. And that's the reason I was saying earlier that the access must be within a logical time. So if it's that we need to speak back to the teacher about ensuring that you are able to get to them, I don't have a problem doing that. But with the WhatsApp groups and you're in grade 1, so you are new. But we have had issues over the years with the WhatsApp messaging. What we find that our parents do, they use it as a forum to speak to each other. So you would be, and then you find like parents cursing out so that they can't sleep. So it is parents' complaints why we close the groups. It's the complaints were right across the floor why the groups had to be closed. And then persons we had situations where persons accidentally posted porn in the WhatsApp group. We can't afford to expose our teachers, our parents, and for some of the phones. It's the same phone that the child is using. So we had a whole love story one year, a whole love story that ended up coming to the WhatsApp group. We can't share stuff like those to everybody. When it comes, all students see it. So we have to strike the thing somewhere. And it was struck to say, teachers can make themselves accessible at a certain time for questions to be asked. I am always accessible. I'm asking for persons not to call me at some real crazy hours of the night, but I am also always accessible. But we will not be opening the WhatsApp groups.
Because I was actually thinking about that. I was saying like why they set up like a number or a group and give you a specific time if you have any question or query, and you send it in and then they will get back to you.
We will take that suggestion. And since you're grade 1, the grade 1 teachers are supposed to be listening in right now. And we would expect that the teachers answer in real time. We would expect that because that's something we have spoken about. And the students are our clients. So we really, I would expect that they are accessible at a certain time of the day. So what we might just do is give you a period of the day where you can reach out to your teacher.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Welcome there.
Yeah. Okay, Samantha, go ahead, Samantha.
Okay, good night, teachers. Good night, parents.
Good night.
My concern is with the links that are being sent in the WhatsApp group. I'm just gonna be asking the grade 4 teachers whenever they're sending the link in the WhatsApp group to also put it in the classroom, because I am at work sometimes and I won't be able to share the link to my daughter for her to get it. So whenever the links are shared in the group, to also have it put in the classroom where the children can access.
Okay, I think that's what is done, but since you said it, I'm going to just let it go. So the teachers are here, so they have heard. But that's what we asked them to do. We asked them to put the link in both spaces, and the code, it's important that the code goes into the WhatsApp group, because that would really be for students who do not have access to the classroom. But I would expect that the links are also being posted in the classroom, because that's where the students go to access their classrooms.
Right. It is posted, but not all the times because my daughter
Okay.
have missed sessions because I am at work and wasn't able to share the link with her.
Okay. All right,
All
we'll
right.
work on that.
Okay.
We're not seeing any more hands as yet, Mrs. Mitchell. Let me just check the chat quickly. Mrs. Bailey, are there any questions in the chat that we need to take?
All right, yes, there were two questions. One is, what is the school code? This person, I believe, is a grade 6 parent. I would believe that if the form comes in without the code, we are able to put it in. And the next one, they're asking to clarify psychosocial.
Clarify. Mrs. Walters, clarify.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last one, Mrs. Bailey. Could you go again, please?
They're asking for clarification as to what is psychosocial.
All right.
Psychosocial session.
Psychosocial sessions are some group sessions, right? What happened is that because we are not at school physically, we normally have guidance session, guidance classes, right? But since the pandemic, the Ministry of Education has really introduced the term psychosocial in an effort for us to have sessions on topics that are geared towards psychologically and socially impacting our students. So the sessions are really to assist the students in coping with the pandemic, still developing the necessary skills that they need to grow and to develop and just to survive all of what is happening in this period. So we as the guidance department, which you'll hear a little bit more later on if we are so permitted in time, we are going to be focusing on topics such as reinforcing the COVID-19 protocols, get how the students feel about the different things that are happening around them based on the pandemic, and just to touch on topics as it relates to being focused in class, being ready for class, and just to get the feelings out, just to get them to express themselves. And we are doing these sessions mainly on a Friday. It's at the end of the week because it's somewhat of a cool down session for them after going through a week of activities. So it's really for the students to help them to cope, one, and to further develop socially, psychologically, mentally, and emotionally.
Thank you, Mrs. Walters. And as you mentioned, Fridays, parents, Fridays, there will be no meeting with teachers, but on Fridays, all students will be tested. Students will be tested, so say Thursday night into Friday morning, all the Google Forms, the test will be posted, so students will complete their assessments and move to their psychosocial sessions. Those assessments will be what we will use. The data coming from them will form the first report card in December. So ensure that if your child doesn't join class for the whole week, he can go for a 0 on Friday. Because if he doesn't join class, it's a 0. But we need the grade. So on Friday, ensure that the tests are done. If you're having problems, you can reach out to the teacher, but there will be no session where the teacher comes in to teach. So no links will be posted for Fridays. The students will be assessed on Fridays. All right? Go ahead, Mrs. Walters.
All right, there's a Jamelia Herbert, hand is up.
And I think we'll take no more than 2 other questions. So Jamelia and if 2 other persons, because I would want the guidance department to speak.
Yes, Mrs. Mitchell.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Mitchell.
Yes, Mrs.
I beg to interject. My phone battery is on 3% now, and I'm in the supermarket. So if we could just speak and wrap it up before I got cut off.
Oh Lord. I want guidance to speak. I want guidance to speak, and yes, I want guidance to speak, and I want to. So before you get cut off, because more likely you are going to get cut off before we are finished. Parents, we are at the end of one of the terms of the boards of directors, and one of the members on the board is the PTA president. I am going to be asking, considering that we are in a pandemic, that we keep the current executive that we have. If you agree, because we don't know some of the new persons and we are out of touch with some of the older persons. If I get 20 yes in the chats in the next few seconds, we will take that as we will work with Mrs. Portius and her team throughout this year. Just the fact that we are within a pandemic, usually this meeting would be a meeting that we would have an election. We don't know. Most of you don't know anybody. So I just need 20 yes, because we will have to write, we would have to send this minute to the board. Mrs. Walters, please check with me. When you see 20, you can ask them to stop. So she's an excellent president and they have worked well. She has been doing excellent. She has some programs that she started before the pandemic. She has one with Dr. Gittin that they are doing some great program for the school. I would really not want, just for those of you who don't know her, just to vote her out and then we don't get to finish the programs. And we need somebody for the board. Have we gotten yes 20 times yet?
Yes, Miss, we're at 21 so far and still counting.
Thank you very much. So we keep our present executive, give them a hand. We will work with them, Mrs. Portius. If you get knocked out, you will always be coming back because you continue to be our president. Thank you very much. Mrs. Shippey, I think was functioning as secretary. We will ask her to continue and we will, and the rest of you parents, try to work along with the executive. We hope that we will come back together so things will be normal, if there's such a word. We hope that we'll be able to get things back to normal, but that this time, considering the situation, we will have to work in this regard. So we will ensure that we communicate with the National Education Council that within this meeting, we agreed as parents to keep our current executive. Thank you very much. So we said we would take 2 more questions. So 2 max. Go ahead, Mrs. Walters. Look if there's anybody else there.
All right, I'm seeing Mr. Pickersgill and Jamelia Herbert.
Okay, Mr. Pickersgill, go ahead. Mr. Pickersgill?
Yes, I was mute. I was just unmuted. This is a question or a request from the parents. I just started online, but I've been discovering that many of the students are left unattended to pay attention to the engagement in the lessons. And what we find is the same level of insolence that we would probably speak to as teachers in the face-to-face sessions. We are experiencing it online and we are left with very little options to deal with it. We'll try to mute a particular student, we'll try to speak to them about it. But, well, for myself, I find that one of the easiest ways to deal with it is to remove that child. No, it is not something that I would ever want to do, which is to remove a child, especially in these challenging times with the online system. However, I think the business of education is so important that no one student should be allowed to stop the process from continuing. So the request is that parents have maybe an elder sibling, a grandmother or somebody actively paying attention to the students. What I have done is to probably take screenshots and so forth when I see the insolence or when I see hurtful comments being put in the chat by students. So I have those for records. But the truth is that's not a part of my job that I particularly enjoy. I really don't want to be telling on any student. I just want to be able to function effectively as a teacher, regardless of the mode or medium that I am given. Now, with that request said, I have just one more desire, that the parents and I guess administration and everybody else involved in education, please be mindful of the fact that as teachers, this pandemic is equally, if not more challenging on us than anybody else. So the same way how you are having challenges with your devices or with the logging in and so forth, I want you to understand that teachers are having pretty much the same challenges in getting the business of education on the road. So please be lenient, please be flexible, and let's just work together to do the best for our students. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pickersgill. On the matter of discipline, it is we understand that it is more difficult to address the disciplinary issues online. I was just asking that you assist us in getting them to stand at attention when the anthem is being sung and stuff like those. So I will not say more on what Mr. Pickersgill said because he has said enough, but it's not just the indiscipline that is shown. We would like to know that they are understanding too. So there has to be some level of monitoring that is happening. So it's not the most ideal thing to leave them to join class. Some of them never joins anyway. So it's not the most ideal thing to leave them to join. Let us see if we can get some level, some sort of monitoring happening. Because had they been with us, we would have been the persons monitoring. But the fact that they are not there physically and you can't take them out of out through the screen, they know that also. So just ask them to be respectful, and the psychosocial sessions will do some addressing of that issue. The psychosocial sessions will do some of that. So we I think it's next week Friday, Mrs. Walters. Is it this Friday or next Friday?
Next week Friday.
Next week Friday when we kick off, we will you will see a change in the students' behavior. I hope that it works. I hope that it works like it did last year. They were fascinated with those sessions and the results were awesome. Thank you, Mr. Pickersgill. One last question.
Jamila Herbert, go ahead quickly.
Go ahead, Herbert.
Good afternoon, Jamila Herbert's mom. I'm just using our phone.
Okay.
In regards to the timetable, Miss Mitchell, for the grade 4, you have some icon underneath. I really don't understand what is GP, D, DG, and F.
Okay, that is there for the teachers, mommy.
Okay.
Those are the teachers' initials. I think I see 2 grade 5 teachers' initials still on the grade 4 timetable, so I'm going to change that. So GP is Glenn Pickersgill.
Oh, okay.
NF is Natasha Ferguson. I did that for the teachers to see where they are, not for so the section that has the subject is ready for you. But because we are doing the primary specialist program where a different teacher teaches each subject. The timetable is now designed with the teacher's name on the timetable. So the initials are the teacher's initials.
All right. That's what I wanted to ask. Thank
so
you.
We're not teaching GP, you hear?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Walters, that should be it. I think I see Alicia Sterling. I'll take that very last question. I want guidance to speak, and I would like sports to speak if they're still here. Go ahead.
Right. Thank you, Mrs. Mitchell.
Because we are moving into October, and we don't have much time left in the night. Go ahead.
All right, so based on the timetable for the students, grade 6 child, I've noticed that there's no time to transition between the classes. So as soon as the child leaves one class, the child should go to another. And it's a bit challenging for the students to transition.
The teachers are facilitating, Mr. Lynn, so that won't affect the students. It won't affect them. What is happening is that a teacher, if the session is not finished, when I had my language arts session, Miss Forrest called me and she said, Miss Mitchell, I'm waiting on my students. So we know the time the class starts, and we know the time the class. We will have to do at second timetable for the face-to-face. So we are working with this one, but we are working with what is there. So we will do the correction as it regards transition. Okay.
Okay, Miss. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Arlene. Mr. Arlene?
Yes, Miss.
You have been in the meeting for a long time?
Yes, Miss.
Right. You heard what I said about the deferral, right?
I did.
Okay. All right.
All right. Can go ahead, Mrs. Mitchell.
Walters, I'm going to be asking at this time that the guidance department speaks. I'm not going to come back. After guidance, we are going to have sports speaking and then culture speaking. Each person has just a minute segment of a second. Go ahead, Mrs. Waters.
Okay, Miss. Before I speak, Miss Scott is asking if she can get 30 seconds for the reading group. Is that okay?
Yes, man. I am happy that they want to speak also. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. Go ahead, Miss Scott.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Mitchell. Thank you, Mrs. Walters. Good evening, colleagues. Good evening, parents. Just to quickly say, the various reading rooms for students to accept, we ask that you check your emails regularly, that is the MOE schools emails. We're asking that you check them regularly to see if your child is sent an invitation to the class. Accept it as soon as possible, because our sessions begins on Monday. So please your emails, and also as soon as you get the invitation and you accept, please check your classroom, the reading classroom daily, to know what time your child is expected to be in class. So please check the email to see the invitation for your classes, for your reading classes, and as well check your Google Classroom for information regarding the time for your child's class. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Scott. Good evening, parents. Good evening to all my colleagues who are online. I will be as brief as possible, but just want to share with you what we are doing from the guidance and counseling department. You know that our children are our heartbeat, so to speak, and whatever we do, it is always in their best interest, because we want to see them growing and developing into the man and the woman, the men and women of tomorrow. And so they just want to point out the first thing, as a parent had asked about the psychosocial session, that information is already out. We will be starting our sessions next week, Friday. Grades 1 to 3 will be having their sessions in the morning with Mrs. Andromeda Drummond Willocks, who is the lower school guidance counselor, and grades 4 to 6 will have their session with me in the afternoon, and we will begin those. We'll send further information to you. We will send the logins in their Google Classroom as well as in the WhatsApp group, because we don't want any student to be left out of our sessions. As Mrs. Mitchell said, it is geared towards helping them to develop, to have the right practices. And so we are on the ball as it relates to that. And so we'll be starting next week, Friday. The second thing is our healthy day. Parents, you know that when we were at school, we would have provided all the fruits that we can find to provide our students with the June plum, the melon, the pineapples, the mangoes, everything, all the fruits we can find. We would drive to the ends of St. James to provide them with the necessary fruits because we want them to be healthy and strong. But unfortunately, we are not able to do so now. But what we're doing is that every Wednesday, we will be sending information in the Google Classrooms as well as the WhatsApp groups on the benefits of various fruits. What we're asking of you, though, on a Wednesday, please load them up with extra fruits and water. If you are able to challenge them to go the entire day without juice, that would be great. Because when we're at school, you can ask them, any of them. We don't drink any juice on a Wednesday and a Friday. It's strictly water. So we are asking for your full participation. Give them their water. Let them have their water bottles beside them and give them only water on a Wednesday. And we're going to ask you to do so on a Friday as well. We know that they can't run up and down as before. They can't move up and down. They're just around the computer daily and around the tablet. And so we still want them to be healthy and strong. So we will be highlighting the benefits of a fruit every Wednesday, and we will be posting them in the Google Classroom and the WhatsApp groups. So we're asking you, if you are not able to provide the fruit that we are highlighting, don't worry about it. Any fruit that you can find, just ensure that on a Friday, on a Wednesday, sorry, in particular, you increase their intake of fruits and their intake of water. All right, we'll be continuing our values and attitudes because we want them to develop with a good value system, and so we are incorporating those into our devotional exercises as well as in their classrooms. They will see their teachers posting the core values. All right, each classroom will be erecting their life in the classrooms, and so we want to instill our core values. I'm sure, probably with the exception of our grade 1 students, if they were here now and I asked them what is LARF, everybody would unmute and they will begin to tell us what our core values are. What we're asking of you is that you emphasize them at home as well. We're in the month of September and we're dealing with loyalty. So if they do something that goes against loyalty, just encourage them. Remember, we are being loyal for the month of September. They will catch on eventually, but just help us in enforcing the different values in the various months. On the matter of technology, we have posted some Google Forms in the WhatsApp groups. What we're doing, we're trying to collect information as it relates to our students who are with and without devices. A few parents have contacted asking when are they supposed to come and pick up the device. Let me just speak on a matter of clarity. We don't have any, well, Mrs. Mitchell had basically addressed that as well. We don't have any device at school now to issue. What we're doing is just we want to have the information ready at our fingertips. And should in case, because we're still out there seeing who can give us any amount of donations. Persons love our school, so they're always coming to offer us various things. So if something arises, we know the students that we will be assisting. But as it is now, we just want to have everybody's information on a sheet so that we can have it readily available. So I will be reposting those in the groups, perhaps at the end of the meeting. So if you did not complete a Google form asking for your information, your child's information, read gadgets and path and technology and Wi-Fi, please go ahead and complete that data sheet at the end of the session. As we started out in the beginning, we know that a lot of persons are experiencing grief and loss as a result of the pandemic. We have been getting a number of parents, a number of family members who are calling us about our students being affected directly and indirectly as it relates to those who are dying because of this pandemic. Our heart goes out to those persons, and as a result, Mrs. Willocks and myself, we will be trying to reach those persons by starting a grief session, a grief group session. So soon, not long from now, we will be soliciting some information from you as it relates to your child being affected directly by someone who has passed away, and we will be having a private session for those persons just to assist our students in coping in these pandemics. All right, and we know that you parents as well, you are affected, and so we will be reaching out to you in the various psychosocial sessions. Yes, we do have psychosocial for parents too, and you'll get more information on those. We will be assisting you with coping skills. We'll be assisting you in understanding the technology a little bit more, because we know that you are at home working with the students. And so we will be having psychosocial sessions for you as well, because we will not be leaving you out of the process. All right. And as Mrs. Michelle mentioned, we will be inducting our student leaders. We will be choosing our peer counselors as per usual. So listen out, your student, your child may be selected to be a student leader, with a peer counselor, a monitor, and so forth. So just encourage them just to log on to their classes, participate, show responsibility, show loyal to themselves, to their school, and to the learning process. All right, you'll get further information as it relates to our other events and activities. We'll be having all our activities just the same: Parents Month, World's AIDS Day, all of those we'll be having, but give you more information as time goes by. All right, so thank you very much, and I'll hand over to Mrs. Calvin Williams at this time.
Good afternoon, parents. Good afternoon, colleagues. Madam Principal, if you're still in, good evening. All right, I won't be as long as Mrs. Walters, because my baby is getting real fussy right now. So, parents, just to know that the month of October, we will be starting our sporting activities. We will be running some house competitions, yes, in your houses. We will also be doing some dance competitions. I have placed a dance form. Sorry. I have placed a dance form in the classroom seeking information and permission from parents for students to participate, because they will have to meet with me outside of the 8:30 to 3, so that we will have to meet after 3 p.m. for our dance session. So we need their permission for them to participate in that. Also, parents, I know it's hard, but I need some equipment from you. I need each student to have a hula hoop, a soccer ball or a football, whichever you know it as, and a skipping rope. No, we are Jamaicans, we are very creative. We don't have to buy these items. We can make these items, right? So you can use hose, that's pipe, water hose, to make the hula hoop, the small ones. You can also use rope. And I'm not sure if we still use those type of bottle, call them roll-on bottle at the end. You can use a piece of rope and 2 roll-on bottles tied at the end to make the skipping rope. And for the soccer ball, you need some plastic, some cleaner paper, some old stocking foot, and you just put those together tight enough where we can actually get that ball kicking. We will need those equipment to be used throughout this term. So from time to time, we will ask the students to come with these items, and we will be using them. I'm also asking for PE class just to create a little space, not much, space where the child can turn, give us a 360-degree turn, a full body turn. We will work with that if that's what you have. For those of us who are maybe in the communities where we have verandas, where we don't have too much traffic passing by, that can be used as well, because as of next week, the students will be up and about. So please, when you see them running up and down in the house, don't quarrel with them. It's PE class they're having, right? And that's the only time they will get to actually run around and move about from their gadget. And that's it from sports for now. So until we ask for these items or materials, see you around. Enjoy your evening, guys.
Mrs. Williams, Mrs. Fraser, are you there?
Not seeing her, Mrs. Mitchell.
He's not there. Okay, parents, I know it has been a long afternoon into the evening, and now it's late. I am grateful that you stayed with us. It is an indication of the interest that you place in your child's or children's education. We are on one end, but this is a triangle. It's parents, teacher, and student. Any end that has a deficit will create some problems in the entire system. I ask that you continue to work with us. We are open to all the suggestions that you have, but I want to inform you that we have planned a program for the students. We have a full program planned for them, an academic program, a wholesome program, one that includes the other areas, the clubs and societies. I encourage you. Sports has just spoken. Culture, I was expecting Mrs. Fraser to be around to speak because we are moving into October, which is one of our greater number of cultural activities that we will execute. I hope that in some time she'll be able to share with you. But I just want to let us know that the devotions are really for worship. And students, as we move on, will be the ones making the announcements in devotion, and those will not be many. So these are the form that we use to actually communicate. I wish for you God's greatest blessings, strength be yours, and I pray that as we move into the not so distant future, we will see the back of COVID so we can actually have our students with us again. Strength be yours. Peace be yours. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. God bless you. Thank you, Mrs. Walters, and the rest of Mr. Thompson, the rest of the ICT facilitators.